Awesome. All right, man. So, Greg, yeah, man, you did amazing. As I was just mentioning, you started the program at 271.2, ended up with 242 as your lowest weight, and that ended up at 29.2 pounds within 16 weeks, man. Like, that's amazing, man. Good job, man. You obviously trust the process. You jumped in and you did what we told you to do, and you lost nearly 30 pounds in that 16 weeks. So, my question to you is, man, I know we started prior to this program. Me and you talked, and we had jumped on prior, right? And we had talked, I think, during the holiday season last year. And you told me that you were going to jump in and possibly try something like our program, but you had talked to your wife and your daughter, and they were doing something, and I had recommended at the time. I was like, Greg, well, if they're doing something and they're losing weight, why don't you just follow what they're doing, right? Let's see what And I didn't actually take you in onto the program because I wanted to see if that works for you, right? And so
Hmm.
how did that go, man? You did jump in. I think tried to do what your wife was doing, your daughter were doing. They were talking to a nutritionist. Like, what were they doing?
Not a daughter. Nope.
Oh,
Not a
not done.
daughter.
Okay, okay, not a
No,
daughter.
no,
Okay.
no,
So,
no. Basically, when I had come in, it was looking more so for that stability and somebody to kind of light a fire under my backside, so to speak, and
mm,
to kind of give me a push and things like that. So, um, you know, being in the medical field, we think that we know about nutrition and things like that, but we know squat. Honestly, it's not something that's really any of us are educated on and things like that. It's you have to go out and seek that out really to truly kind of understand it and things like that. So I was just in a rut, not exercising, drinking too much and things like that, and so but needed that kind of that push and kind of accountability and things like that. So and kind of just lost, not knowing really what to do, and so not having that understanding and just being completely ignorant about it. So and I had let myself get away and far too long, and it was. Didn't ever realize it how significant it was, because when I'm sitting there in the mirror in the morning brushing my teeth or shaving and things like that, it's I don't see the protuberance of my belly. It
yeah,
was a little bit it was a kind of astounding when I first did the photographs, because I
yeah.
did that front and then a lateral view and then the posterior view, and it was just like, oh dear God, and so
We
but
get used to
it,
looking at ourselves,
oh
daily, and
no,
we get so
right.
used to it, right? And it's like we kind
Hmm.
of lose sight of it, right? So even
Yeah,
me, if I
absolutely.
put on like 4 or 5 pounds, like, which is a big deal for me, right? I'm like, oh man, how did that happen, right? And it's like
Right.
because you
Yep.
see yourself every day, your loved
Yep.
ones see yourself every day, so it's like, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you're over
Right.
here, with your weight, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
creeps up on you. Yeah, before,
yeah.
yeah, because it's the people that you haven't seen in a while. They're just like, damn, you're getting kind of big, man.
Yeah, those are the ones
And
that
so it's
really tell it to you because they're like they haven't
right,
seen you in a long time, right? So
right.
got you,
Yeah.
man. So you were in this rut, you were overwhelmed, didn't know what to do. What kind of specialty are you in, Greg, in the medical field?
So I own I'm the co-owner of a business, and we take care of patients in skilled nursing facilities, do rehab medication or rehab medicine, and I specialize in wound care. So
Got
we're
it,
here
got
in
it,
Idaho, yeah, and we have 16 different skilled facilities that we're at, and several providers and things like that. So,
got it.
but
Yeah,
I'm the wound care guy. So
got it. Nice, nice, nice. That's right. And you got a lot of shuffling around, like for business. You're driving around, right? You're having to go to multiple places. Super busy, obviously, right?
right,
You're like
right.
our average, guy comes into the program. They're just, they forget about themselves, right? They put
Hmm.
everything else as a priority. And that's where we
Right,
have to kind of reassess and be like, hey, Greg, how can you do your job to the best of your ability if you're letting your health
right,
slip away, right? So a
right.
lot of times that is, becomes a tertiary priority even sometimes, right? It's like
Right.
family, patience, right? Faith
Hmm.
maybe, and then everything else, comes with it, and that's our health,
Right.
right? So how do you feel like you kind of readjusted to that, like putting your health a priority? Do you think now it's a priority for you and you're looking,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, okay, good, good,
Yeah,
good. So,
absolutely. It's, I've always been active and, and strong and things like that. And so I've been kind of amazed at the differences from when I started to where I'm at now. I thought I was strong. I mean, I can still, I could pick up a patient and move them in the bed and and pull them towards me and things like that. So, my, that's always been strong. I've got, kind of strong back, weak mind kind of a thing.
mhm.
But now, but I couldn't do 3 push-ups when I first started.
Mm,
And so when I started the program, the what I'm telling everybody right now too is the best thing about the weight loss is the fact that I don't have to um, take 3 or 4 big deep breaths and then hold my breath to bend over to tie my shoes.
mm,
Yeah, so now
really?
I
Wow.
can bet. Oh, it was bad, and so it was, and then literally, and then come up going because I was holding my
Really?
breath.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And now so I can sit over, I can tie my shoes again. Still got a little bit of a gut and things like that. Still wanting to see my feet, but
Yeah.
working towards on getting that down. But um,
Okay.
my endurance, just the ability to move around. As a wound care provider, I'm in skilled nursing facilities dealing with people in wheelchairs and all this kind of thing that have
Oh,
worse mobility issues than I do. So I
yeah.
spend a fair amount of my day laying on the floor looking at wounds on people's legs and the bottom of their feet and things like
Oh,
that.
really? Oh, wow.
And yeah,
Okay.
so I found, before it was a struggle to get up. Now I can jump right up and no problems at all.
That's amazing. It's
Yeah,
such a short amount of time, man. Imagine
right,
what you can do in another 4 months, right?
right,
So it's like one
yeah,
of those things where if you just put in the work and you focus and you trust the process like you did, man,
right.
you reap the benefits, right? And
Oh,
so,
100%.
yeah. And so, how do you feel from an exercise standpoint? Like, you're saying you got more energy. Do you feel stronger? Like,
Oh, yeah.
how do you feel like in general?
So, like I said, when I first started this, I couldn't even do 3 push-ups. And so I started, doing the kneeling push-ups and things like that and just progress. And as I was doing more of those and could end up, in a 30 seconds time span, doing 15 knee push-ups it would got more and more and more. And then I started, okay, I'm doing regular push-ups now. And so just last week I commented to my son, my oldest son, that, it's like crazy. But in the last 30 minutes, through my rotation, I've just done over 100 push-ups between the push-ups and the burpees and that
Wow,
kind of
that's
thing.
amazing. Let's go, man.
And
Love it. That's awesome.
yeah, so that's been kind of wicked crazy. I mean, I still huff and puff like an old man, but it's okay.
But you're able to do them now, right? You're
Right,
able to do them where it was a
100%.
challenge. You said you did 3 when you first started, right?
Yeah,
So it just
yeah.
goes to show
And
you,
so
man. Awesome.
yeah, I haven't sat down and pumped out as many as I can. But I think right now in push-ups I can probably do uh 25 to 30 just in a row.
Wow.
So
Oh my
yeah.
God, that's
So huge
amazing.
difference. Yeah, huge
Huge
difference.
difference from 3.
Yeah. Right.
Gosh, man, that's
Yeah.
amazing, man. That's awesome, man. Anything else that you've seen, like, during the program? Like you said, accountability. You needed a bunch of accountability. How do you feel about the
Mhm.
accountability in the program?
It definitely was helpful that I had to pay
Yeah, there you
because
go. Yeah,
that
exactly.
kind of that motivated
That's
me,
the first
and it
big
was
accountability, right? Like
right.
you invested in your health,
Absolutely.
right? A lot of
Yep.
times you guys actually have never spent money or even maybe this amount of money to actually
Right.
get you to goal, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing, like you actually prioritize and say, you know what? I spent money on everything else in life.
Hmm.
And it could be whatever, right? It could be your, all these extra spending that doesn't push the needle as far as your health. Now you
Right.
actually discipline yourself to say, you know what? I'm going to trust in myself. I'm going to trust in this product. I'm going to spend some money on myself, right?
Yep.
So that was
Absolutely.
the first accountability. And then throughout, like you said, you need to push, you need accountability. And so that's what keeps our guys focused, right? Just making sure that, you're in the process, we're optimizing and taking you through. So Coach Manoj was your go-to coach. So how'd that go with him?
Good, good. Yeah, he was, sending me messages during the day through, on the, not through the day, but, daily and
Lovely.
stuff like that. Not even
Yeah.
every day, but just,
Yeah.
hey, with little quotations and things like that, just trying to
Yeah.
kind of motivate me and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
which was nice, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So gave me checked in with me with the Loom
Yeah.
deal weekly on how my progress was going and things like
Yeah.
that, and different things that
Yeah.
I could work on and
Yeah.
look at changing.
Awesome.
So.
Good, man. Well, awesome, man. Well, any last thing that you would tell somebody that's kind of on the fence, man, and they're thinking, hey, is this going to work for me? What would you tell them?
Well, it's a situation. It's like, we kind of talked about that. Medical providers make the worst patients. Because we're always concerned about taking care of everybody else, like you said, and I think that you can't, because like you say, if you're not taking care of yourself, then you really can't effectively take care of anybody else. And I was kind of starting to feel like a hypocrite too, because here I am having to tell people, yeah, you're getting obese, and you need to lose a little bit of weight, and people are looking at me going, yeah, you and me both. But
Mm,
so it's a situation that you got to take control of it. In everybody's different. You when I first met with you, I was very hesitant and things like that, and and it's been great, because it's kickstarted me and put me into a situation that I knew I needed to be in, and it kind of started it started that wheel spinning. So, which is good.
awesome, man. Awesome, man. Congratulations again. You're doing amazing, man. I know you got a little bit more as a goal to go, so keep tracking, man,
Yep.
and you're going to do amazing. So thank you, Graham.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Awesome.
All right.